On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about our arch enemies. The band Archenemy. I guess we've now declared them. That's right, we're declaring war on Archenemy. Stay tuned.
See if they notice.
They won't.
No.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Medalist podcast. I'm Kayle.
I'm OJ.
And today we're talking about the 2001, the initial release. I'm looking at the sheet here.
It was re-released.
Well, it was released in 2001 in Japan on the 25th of April, 2001. And it just says Japan. And then it says 18th of March 2002, other territories. So nearly a whole year later.
Released outside of Japan.
Yeah, it says other territories. So for some reason, Japan got Wages of Sin in a year earlier.
That's what they were thinking. They did their first album. They said, we're big in Japan.
We're starting this out with a mystery, apparently.
Apparently.
I'm just confused by this. That has to be like an error or something,
It's
right?
intrigue.
So before we get to that... I left my boogie board over on the other side.
Oh, you did. There it is. It's over there. Yeah, it's over by your bean. And a thing fell on the floor.
That's fine. I don't need it.
All right, that's good.
Currently, I forgot to make supper earlier, so I've got...
chicken fries.
I've got some homemade chicken fries. Well, they're not homemade. They're Schwann's, but that I put a lot of cayenne pepper on.
I can visualize, from the other side of the table, I can see mountains of cayenne pepper on these chicken
nice
fries.
And spicy. It really kind of sneaks up on you. I'm trying to develop my palate for spicy foods.
Why is that?
Well, because it just feels like it's a whole era of food, a whole
genre.
area.
Yeah, okay.
A whole genre of food that I'm kind of missing. So I'm just, I kind of want to get into somewhat spicier food.
We seem to have a very Nordic palate.
I do. I have a very, German meat and potatoes type thing. And so it is the first week of Female February, by the way.
It is. And happy Female February to you.
Yes, happy Female February.
We got the St. Pauli girl.
Oh, I didn't. Is that really why you got Pauli girl?
It was sort of a secondary. The other one is I like it. So
yeah. We've got some lager here, which is St. Pauli girl. Some things that I wanted to bring up before we get into Archenemy is a couple of bands that are new to me this week to talk about. First of all, on Thursday night, I saw a Facebook post from our local record store, and they were going through the different records they had gotten that week, new records that they had gotten, or at least new prints that had been released that they were putting in store.
New Prince album. Sweet.
Yeah, the new Prince album. It's all of his unreleased songs.
Which there are, believe me, tons.
Oh, yeah, there's probably thousands of them. But, like the very first album was this just gorgeous looking. The cover art was really beautiful to me anyway. It is kind of a somewhat frightening looking to maybe some people, but like it's a sort of this woman in a white robe perched on top of what looks like this big tree stump, and she's got like a deer skull covering her face and antlers and whatnot. I thought it was very pretty in a very Norse sort of way. And it was by a band called Swallow the Sun that I hadn't heard of before, and I looked up, and it was the album was coming out midnight that day, and it was a release that they had gotten.
Wow, ahead of schedule.
Or ahead of schedule, or at least for stock anyway.
Sure.
And I looked up the singles that were online because the full album hadn't been released yet. Got a little bit of spice here.
Hey, you said full album there.
Full album.
Full album. The album
hadn't been released yet.
Oh.
But the full album had not yet been released. And so I listened to a couple of the singles, and I was like, holy shit, this is really good. It is, Swallow the Sun is a Finnish doom death band, sort of a mix of doom metal and death metal, and surprisingly, a lot of acoustic work as well. Although not so much on their newest album. There's still plenty of acoustic stuff on the newest album, but I listened to some of their back catalog. Their album that came out in 2014 was a triple album. a full 3 discs.
Sure.
And it was called Songs of the North. I thought that When a Shadow is Forced into the Light, which is their newest one, had pretty cover art. And Songs from the North really kind of outdoes it by there's a photograph is the album art of possibly one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Like she's hauntingly beautiful. I don't know how else to describe her.
And it's just a headshot.
And it's just a headshot. Yeah. She's got a floral crown on, and it's just, the light beaming in from behind her. And the album is kind of the same way. Everything about their work is just hauntingly beautiful in a way. And just really cloaked in a lot of, it's doom metal, so there's a lot of sadness involved. And eventually we'll I hope to do a full episode on When a Shadow's Forced into the Light. But the line, the album name is a reference to a song from a band called Trees of Eternity, which was a side project of their lead guitarist, whom he did with what I thought was maybe a girlfriend or a wife. They were actually just good friends and described online as life partners, essentially, that they had met and been working together and been in close contact for a number of years beforehand. It was a side project that they did. Her name was ELISA Stanbridge. And she
still
had
is.
Her name, is ELISA Stanbridge, I suppose. But she passed away in 2016. Trees of Eternity, their first and only album, came out, I believe, a few days after she passed away. He released it. And so there's a lot of emotion on all of their work, but this newest album, that Trees of Eternity album, is really kind of special too. So it's that was something that I was really happy to find and get into, because it's gotten me into a little bit of more doom metal, which is a category I'm severely lacking in bands.
Nice.
Another band that I listen to that is also new to me, but certainly not new to most people, or at least most people who've listened to sort of ambient type music or post-rock music. I finally started listening to Sigur Ros.
Wow.
Or Sigur Ros.
Sigur Ros.
Yeah. It's an Icelandic, atmospheric, post-rock type band, and they're just really good. They use a lot of bowed guitar, really high falsetto vocals. The lead singer has a really amazing voice, I think. Very unique voice, too. It's very high sort of falsetto, but it's never annoying. There are some times where I listen to guys doing high falsetto singing, and it kind of gets on my nerves.
It's grating. Yeah.
But I don't think it's ever annoying when it comes to Sigur Ros. You there in front of you have finally much hyped, or at least my dad's much hyped venison jerky in front of you.
Mr. Borner, you did a fine job on this jerky.
I'm sure.
He's probably not listening, but
well, if my mom's listening, I'm sure she'll relay that to my dad.
Very good.
Yeah, it's hickory that you got there. I've also got some jerky sticks in my fridge that have some cheese in them. I can't remember if I've got any original, the original seasoning. I don't really know what it is other than original, but that's what my dad calls it, and I think I've got some of that in the fridge. I'm gonna eat some more of my chicken fries.
This is very tender jerky. I mean,
oh yeah, when it's fresh out of the package, it is very tender. I think that's my favorite thing about my dad's jerky. Quit it.
No, I wasn't going there. I was just
You were looking at me.
I was laughing at the fact that we're just taking this time just to munch onto a microphone.
We might skip ahead a couple of minutes while I feed myself. He also recently, I'll have to show you pictures, he finished doing up the skull and mounting this huge Bighorn Sheep skull that our rancher friend found out on her ranch. That I don't know if the sheep died or if it got shot and not found, or if it just died. It was just a massive skull and just massive horns. And apparently the Game and Fish said that if it had been shot and tagged, it would have been at or very close to a state record.
Nice.
For at least bighorns that have been harvested, because very, very few people get bighorn licenses in North Dakota because there are not very many of them here. And we saw 2 of them out there last year in November. We saw 2 bighorns running around, which hadn't happened at all before. I had never seen bighorns out there.
Was this down in the Southwest?
This was out by Grassy Butte.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For listeners, you probably have no idea.
You know,
if you look up Grassy Butte,
Butte.
North Dakota, it's in the Badlands area of North Dakota.
Right.
I don't know if people from the general area in the United States, when they think Badlands, maybe they think South Dakota, but I think most of them are actually in North Dakota.
That is true. That is correct.
Most of what we call Badlands are in North Dakota.
Most of the untamed Badlands are in North Dakota.
And well, I mean, we call them untamed, but you walk out there and there's an oil pump every 50 feet.
Right.
South Dakota does have the Black Hills, but we got the Badlands. So I've had a few more fries put in me. Some other conversations that we had while we skipped.
That we perhaps didn't record, or did record and just didn't keep.
That I've edited out. It's time. God, these
By the
are
way,
spicy.
I didn't know that.
Do you want to have one of these?
Do I want one? Yeah, I kind of do.
Give one a try.
This one here seems to have a lot of cayenne on it. That's some good flavor.
Yeah, I like these. Definitely needed seasoning.
Woo!
Yeah. So now that now that I'm done eating for a little while, it's time, I suppose, to start talking about Archenemy. This eating thing was a terrible idea. I was just so hungry.
Sorry, and I showed up a little early, didn't I?
Yeah, that's all right though. It's extremely cold out there, by the way, for those of you who are not in the upper Midwest.
Well, anywhere in the center of the United States.
Yeah, basically anywhere in the Great Plains area, center of the United States, is extremely cold.
Cold.
There was a town in North Dakota called Devil's Lake. Earlier today, they
Still is.
Yeah, it's still. Well, I don't know if it's still there. I think they might have all died and froze to death. Earlier today, the air temperature in Devil's Lake was 34 below zero. That was the air temperature.
It was a record.
Yeah, record air temperature for that town at this time of year. I don't know what the wind chill would have been, but probably twice that.
You know, there wasn't a whole lot of wind. I recall that.
Today wasn't bad. Yesterday was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had my heaters on max for a while. I turned them off just because extra body heat tends to make this room heat up pretty quick.
Sure.
Keeping my heaters on maximum, trying to keep this space warm.
So this album...
Yes, by a band called Archenemy. They are a Swedish melodic death metal band.
Yes.
From Sweden, although not everybody in the band is Swedish, past and current. They're in female February because their most recent two vocalists out of three have both been female. Currently, there is ELISA Gluz? I never know if I'm saying her name right.
I think it's Gloss.
Close. She's Canadian. And then the singer on this album, this was her first album with them, I believe, was Angela Gosso, who is German.
Right.
And so, yeah, this came out, I guess, in 2001 and 2002, which is remarkably confusing.
In Japan and the rest of the world.
In Japan first, and then the rest of the world, I guess. And, yeah, it's Wages of Sin, melodic death metal album. How did you get into Archenemy?
Once again, her name comes up. Well, I guess I won't say her name, but the crust punk that I dated.
Oh, okay.
She was a womanist with the Y, and she really loved the art and things that were done by women. And she said, "This is a very good band. Yeah, listen to it." This wasn't the first album I listened to by them. It was it's killing me. It was like their fourth album, but it wasn't this one. And this one I actually like better.
Really?
Yeah.
Any reason why?
It seems like it was fresher.
Okay.
The music on this is very power metal oriented, if you noticed that or not.
Yeah, I think, I definitely noticed that.
Without the death metal vocals of Angela, if they'd have done just like, if they'd have brought Bruce Dickinson in.
Yeah, this kind of would have been a power metal.
It would have been.
Except for there was one of the songs later on in the album that had what I, in my head, kept on calling a Slayer riff. Sure. Where it's the very fast.
Yeah. Yep. And the drums were offset.
A lot of open chords strumming on this. A lot of kind of very, very fast chugs. A lot of things that reminded me of Death Clock,
sure.
The fictional band from Metalocalypse, which is described as a melodic death metal band. Melodic death metal is something that I don't have a lot of experience with. Haven't listened to a whole lot of it. Most of it has been. Most of the bands that I've listened to have been straight up death metal. So.
Sure.
My lips are on fire right now from this cayenne.
His face is all, it's just tingling. It's glistening with the spice.
I ate this one chili. It's so hot. Dang there, set my mouth on fire. Had to drink a 2-liter Mountain Dew. So yeah, Archenemy. So that's when did you listen to this album? Was it pretty quickly after it got introduced to you?
Yeah, pretty quickly after it got. Actually, no, it was at the time. It was
okay.
They didn't say, hey, you should check out this album, and then check that. No, it was one of those things where a lot of things that got introduced to me were introduced to me in my car.
Okay,
that happened a lot. So, I'm going to put this in your CD player, and it was just amazing. This blew me away. It was
there in your car, where you felt safest of all.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember the other words.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of power metal, a lot of melodic influence with the guitars.
Yeah, it was
a lot of soloing.
Yeah, the melodic work on this album is all in the guitars, not in the vocals at all.
Not at all.
Does Angela, on any of her work with Archenemy, does she ever do any melodic vocals?
Not really, no.
Okay, because I know ELISA does.
Mm-hmm.
ELISA is their current vocalist who stepped in after Angela stepped down. Angela just left the band on her own accord, wanted to start a new chapter of her life.
Right.
She's now the band's manager.
Right.
And recently there was actually a little bit of controversy about a photographer that she banned from their photo pit, from taking photos at their concerts. I briefly read over it, and there was some backlash online about that. But and she released this long post or whatever, but I didn't really bother reading it. But there was some recent backlash having to do with I think both Angela and ELISA and this photographer. But I don't know. The music's fucking great.
Fucking great.
Angela as a vocalist, I wouldn't say that she has a ton of range necessarily.
No.
But what she does do
very well
is very well. It's almost, she has a very specific, like when you get really deep down into bands that do a lot of growled and screamed vocals, you kind of start to dissect the minutiae of each person's style.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people that kind of have a somewhat drier, more intense style that like it sounds drier is really the only way that I can think of. And then there are some people that have more of a bellow, and then some people kind of have like almost like a gurgle when you really, really pay attention to it. And I like that, the gurgly sort of noise. I kind of like that because it's like you can hear their vocal cords themselves. Like you can sort of separate yourself from, oh, this is human speech, and think of it more as just a bunch, some flaps of flesh vibrating and making noise. And Angela kind of does that at some point.
She can gargle the meat flaps. She can really do that.
Oh, that's so gross. That's so fucking gross. Oh. That's got to be the subtitle for the episode. Gargling the meat flaps. Good God. Ah, that's nasty. I'm getting sweaty because I'm wearing a very thick sweatshirt with this fucking cayenne pepper.
It's really having an effect on you. You just can't handle the spicy foods.
I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off.
There you go. What do you got on under that? I
got my Ghost Bath.
Oh,
shirt.
Sure you do.
Yeah. So definitely she has a very intense vocal style, or at the very least a very deep and I was about to say throaty, and then you probably would have made a deep throat joke.
No,
you wouldn't have. Maybe I should have let it happen for the sake of improv, but
that's what she said. So
what? Okay, no. What sort of situation are two people getting into where it's like, oh, maybe I should have let him bang me for the sake of improv? What sort of situation?
You've never done theater, have you? I mean,
I have done theater, good sir.
All right, here's another
Not a whole lot of community theater as an adult though. So it's like I've always heard tales of like high school and college theater students always banging each other. That never happened to me because I went to a very small high school.
Sure.
Where like if everyone's banging each other, some bad shit would have gone down. Like I said last week, everybody in my high school who was dating seemed to have significant others from other towns.
Sure. Because you have to.
Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna see that person every single day.
Forever.
If you break up, depending upon how old you are, it might be for the next couple of years. Because it's a small school. You're going to see that person every day if you break up. And that is maybe good, maybe not so good. Who knows?
I suppose it would on one level, it would teach you how to deal with that sort of thing, how to separate yourself from a situation.
And how to just be friends with somebody or go back to being friends with somebody.
Right. Let's just be friends.
Let's just be friends. But yeah, it's interesting for that reason. But so, yeah, did that happen a lot? Were people banging each other in the community theater, group here in Minot?
You know, I have 5 kids, right?
I suppose, that question kind of answered itself, didn't it? I'm going to have another chicken fry.
That was sort of a yes-and situation is what that was.
Back to improv. Yes, and
yes,
sex.
And sex. Yes, please, and... Let's see where this goes. Yeah. No, yeah. So...
Theater people freaky.
No, did you notice, listening to this, on your version, did the covers in there? Some great covers in this album.
I skipped those.
You skipped the covers?
I was I hadn't finished it because I was busy at work today, and then I got back and I had other things to do. I was kind of cleaning the apartment because I thought I was going to have company other than you, and I was just like, I should clean stuff up, and I listened to the last half and kind of skipped over the covers. I was looking for, or I stopped at the covers because after the covers, then there's a couple of other tracks, but those seem to be like B-sides from the first couple of albums.
Yeah.
Because those aren't Angela on the vocals on the last few ones. At least the version on Spotify, anyway. Didn't have Angela on the vocals.
Right. Well, it wasn't like that. I don't think it was like that in the original release of the CD.
I imagine not. I imagine the original CD was just that and then the covers.
Right.
So what were the covers, by the way?
They did a Judas Priest song.
Okay.
An Iron Maiden song. They did Aces High on there. And
I did see Aces High, and I recognized that
song
title. I recognized the song title.
And they did a Europe song. What Europe song was it they did? I'm trying to remember.
Let me see here.
Something was Scream. No.
Scream of Anger.
Scream of Anger. That was
by Europe.
The Europe song they did.
It was I think Diva Satanica. Is that original song?
That's an original song.
Okay, yeah, because there's a couple like B-sides that seem to be original songs. I'm sweating like a fucking whore in church right now.
And you've still got a whole plate of them things left.
Yeah, I still got a bunch of these. Like the Burger King chicken fries, those are spicy.
Sure.
These, honestly, I kind of wish the Burger King ones were like this because I'm enjoying it. It's just like I'm getting sweaty.
Sure. You feel alive now. I
feel alive. Woo!
That's good.
So yeah, what's your favorite song on the album?
My favorite song on the album is let me see the titles
here,
so I can remember the names of the songs.
These pages. There's some on the other one.
I really love the song "Heart of Darkness." Great song.
Okay.
There's a really good groove metal song on here, "Behind the Smile." You notice it was very groove oriented.
What's the one that has what I would describe as Slayer riffs? Can you remember it?
Man, was that Shadows and Dust? I think that was Shadows and Dust near the end of the album. Yeah.
What's the one where is something to do with Messiah? Is there something with Messiah in the title?
Yeah, Savage Messiah.
Savage Messiah, where I hear someone growl, "I want your flesh."
Yeah.
I think she's talking about like eating Jesus or something like that.
Something like that, but not in the way you would want.
Yeah, you don't, not in the way you would want to be eaten.
What's the one at the end where
Unless you're into vor.
Unless you're into vor. Oh yeah, is it Web of Lies?
Yep. Well, I don't know what you were about to say. I just answered, yeah. What?
Yes.
Yes. Whatever you were.
Whatever you were gonna say. Is the one where she does the really deep. If it's even her at the end.
I think that was her.
Of Lies. Yeah.
I think that was her. You can certainly. I think anybody can pitch down, and as you put enough force into it.
Sure. Whether it's electronically. I don't think it was electronically done. It didn't seem like it.
Maybe. I mean, Web of Lies. Like I can do that. I don't have a super deep voice, but I can get down there.
Your voice is much deeper than mine is. I have to rely on timbre for my my radio program.
I guess I wouldn't say that my voice is that much deeper than
you have a much. I have to do this a lot. I have to.
Yeah, you do kind of do that. I suppose you do. Just a little bit. I mean, it's not nearly as exaggerated as you just did.
But I was also in a sort of power metal band where I had to sing high.
Yeah. Dredge Can.
I remember the name of the band.
The guy who runs the record store was in the radio station last week talking to our boss. And we were talking to him out in the lobby, and you were talking about how this coming year, you and the guys from Dredge Can are going to be getting back together and hanging out.
I don't know if we're going to play it all, but we're going to.
At the very least, you're all going to be in the same place at the same time
for the first time in like 2 decades.
And I made mention that you guys should record or like do a re-release because you have recorded material.
We did. We recorded at Meyer Studio in Bismarck before it was called Makoche.
Yeah, so you have recorded material. So I was like, you guys should do like a repressing or like a re-release CD or something.
That would be awesome.
And so when I came in, because I came in the day after, or the day that Swallow the Sun record came out, because I wanted to buy it. Unfortunately, it had gotten sold already because hot material apparently.
Sure. The sun. You're swallowing the sun like you're doing right now with the
I feel like I'm swallowing the sun. Because it's good shit. And I had my name put down, but when I walked in the door, he was like, "Hey man, you want a Dredge Can CD?" I was like, "I would, but that's not what I'm here for." But
I can get you a copy. I can get you a copy. You don't have to pay for it, man. I'll get you a promo copy. We even have a live album.
I want the money to go to the band, you know.
It's okay. We'll have it pressed on vinyl just for you, man.
Just for me, however much money that costs. Just front me the cost for. Or I'll front the cost for a single vinyl production, a one pressing run of a Dredge Can live album.
And all we had to do was destroy the upholstery in a car, and then melt it down into one vinyl record.
Oh, it was vinyl upholstery. I was confused where you were going with that. I thought you were talking about like one time in the band you destroyed the upholstery in a car.
Oh yeah, we did that. That did happen.
Did you guys have a van and tour, or were
we did the Can Van?
Okay.
Yeah. We
nice. I love the name.
Yeah, the Can Van. We almost died on that van a couple of times.
What band hasn't almost died in their van? Yeah. I was going to say, where the fuck is the bottle opener?
There it is.
But what band hasn't almost died in their van?
I know. It was in Leeds, South Dakota.
Oh, boy. You almost died. Where were you going?
We were going to Spearfish.
Okay. I was going to say, I hope you didn't almost die to go to a show in fucking Leeds, South Dakota.
Well, actually, Leeds is close enough to Sturgis where you'd get, like, if you're there at the right time of the year,
you'd get some of the right crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, we were going down a hill that had black ice on it, and the other side of this hill was a ravine, and there was no guardrail or anything like that.
Oh, fun.
And, of course, we had bald tires on the van.
Well, yeah, because it was a band van.
Yeah.
You can't have actual traction in a band van.
No, we were getting our $200 worth out of this van.
That was a lot of money at the time.
It was. It was a crazy amount of money. Yeah, it was a good time. We had fun. It was a terrible show too. My wireless guitar amp broke.
Did you have what's the fucking spinal? Did you have a Spinal Tap moment?
We've had several of those.
You didn't? But it wasn't like Air Force chatter coming in through your speakers.
No, that's happened. That has happened. We have CB. We're playing a show and first breaker 19. We're southbound and we're gonna meet you up with the corner up here and it's, fuck is going on?
Why is this coming through? You were on the wrong channel. That's fucking hilarious.
It was just cheap equipment. We always had cheap equipment. I wouldn't do that now.
Though.
Yeah,
that's how you do that shit.
That's how you do.
That's how you do.
I lived in my car, man.
Yeah. Archenemy. Wages of Sin. So some specific shit that I'm going to read off of the Wikipedia page. So it was well received by most critics who praised Angela as the new singer. One guy from Blistering, which is a publication, said that she handles the vocals on the album expertly. He did wrote, however, while less diverse than Leva, the diminutive German's more traditional... what did he call her? Is she short?
She's 10. She's not actually that tiny.
Yeah, I don't know why he called her diminutive. More traditional death metal style gives Wages an uncommonly brutal, if slightly less creative air. And that is... I kind of agree with that sentiment, that she does have very kind of classic death metal vocals. Like, it's not the super deep guttural stuff that you hear on a lot of bands that would come later. It is sort of more of a mid-range growl rather than the really deep. Although she kind of goes there at a couple points.
She does.
Or at least does her version of that. That was a good one.
That was a very nice push.
Dennis from Lords of Metal. Just Dennis.
Dennis.
That's all they say. It's just Dennis.
Maybe he's Denis. Maybe he's from Quebec.
Perhaps. He said that the female vocals by Angela Gasso are a remarkable performance and that it's a big improvement compared to the former singer. So he liked her better than the previous one.
The female vocals. He
had to specify.
He had to specify.
And, it was something that I thought about talking about is because Archenemy is a very popular band in the scene. And without getting too much into sexism or topics like that, how much do you think their popularity is owed to having female vocalists? Because, they had Angela and then now they have ELISA. And when Angela stepped down, they very quickly went to ELISA. They didn't... Whether or not, any male singers auditioned or not, ELISA got chosen. She does a great job.
Sure.
But
are you saying was it their shtick? Is it their...
Yeah. Do you think it's sort of a gimmick?
Well, I don't know. Maybe, but probably not because of the caliber of vocalists that they have.
And that's where I would agree with you. Absolutely, is that it's not like they just chose any women to do these vocals. They're extremely talented. And they're very, very good at what they do. And
so is the rest of the band.
Yeah, and the rest of the band is also very, very good at what they do. So it's, maybe it is a little bit of, well, we had one female singer, and we're kind of known as the band now that has female singers.
Right.
But we're going to choose, cream of the crop for... Now you're looking for the opener. But yeah, it's something that I thought was maybe worth bringing up. And I, honestly, I don't know if it matters because they make pretty solid music. And at the end of the day, good music is good music.
Totally.
I don't know if it really matters how much, what the reason for hiring one vocalist is over another. If they're making good stuff, who the fuck cares?
Totally.
And if they're making good stuff and they're also not complete assholes, who the fuck cares?
And sometimes they are complete assholes and you have to look past it. But I don't think
and
that's the case.
Sometimes you can't.
Sometimes you can't.
Sometimes you just can't. There are a few.
What band would you say that you can't look past it because they are complete assholes?
I'd say, well, I haven't listened to Burzum. I've thought about listening to Burzum, but...
Varg's band.
Varg is a murderer.
Yeah.
And he's a racist.
Sure.
And he's kind of a neo-Nazi.
That kills it for you.
Yeah, that kind of kills it for me. I have difficulty. And just like if I find out like, oh, this black metal band has got a tie to neo-Nazism, it kind of sours it for me.
Sure.
I don't want to be giving those people, listens on Spotify, which eventually translates into money. I don't want money going towards them if they're going to be promoting things that I fundamentally disagree with.
Mm-hmm. What if you find out a band is a conspiracy theorist band? Like they buy into things like, Andrew Wakefield was right.
It depends on what the conspiracy
don't
theory is.
Vaccinate your kids.
If it's that shit, then sorry. No, not going to do that. But if it's like fun conspiracy theories, sure.
Sure.
Like, something about aliens
sure,
or Area 51. Like, those conspiracy theories I can get behind.
Those are fun.
I like those. Those don't hurt anybody. But, like, harmful conspiracy theories, fuck no. Get that shit away from me.
Make America great again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, none of that. None of that. I would not... I feel like I wouldn't really enjoy that all that much, to be listening to a pro-Trump metal band. I'm sure there are some out there.
There has to be.
There has to, by law of large numbers,
mm-hmm.
There's got to be some, some pro-Trump death metal band out there.
Of course, now we brought politics into this.
Yeah. I don't know. Who gives a shit? Not me. I'm going to have another chicken fry, motherfucker.
There you go. Chicken fry.
I think this one might be the heaviest dose of cayenne yet.
No.
There's a big old spot on
Try
there.
to do as much of it as once as you can there. He's doing the whole chicken fry.
I'll eat all three of these motherfuckers.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me get 911 on speed dial. Ready to go here. And he's fitting them all in there. He's fitting them all in. He's going all the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Kayle has fit all three chicken fingers covered in cayenne pepper and a small amount of ketchup into his face. And he is devouring them with his massive mandibles.
Massive?
You got a strong jaw.
Not really, no.
No, you don't. You don't think you have a strong jaw?
I wouldn't say I have. I'd say I have strong shoulders, not a strong jaw. They're not physically strong; they're just large.
Just large. So it's strong as in visually strong. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's you look at me,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, you got a wide set of shoulders on you.
Mm-hmm.
You look at my face, I wouldn't call this a strong jaw.
You wouldn't say that's a. You wouldn't say
I'm too fat for that.
So maybe that's what I'm mistaking there. Is maybe you're just your chubbitude.
My chubbitude.
For having a strong jaw.
It's possible.
So if you lost a lot of weight in your face, I go, oh, geez.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a very big chin. I think that contributes to a strong jaw.
See, I have facial and body features sort of like the Night Mother in
Skyrim.
In Skyrim.
Or like a goblin of some sort.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Draugr.
That's a
noise.
Draugr, yeah.
That's a Draugr noise right there. Whew. Ooh, that was hot.
You gonna make it?
Oh, I'll be fine. I got me some St. Pauli.
Good thing I brought beer.
Yeah. Nice little drink there.
So what else about this band? Like now what are the other bands that? I mean, obviously it's a super group.
Yeah. I didn't do a lot of research there. Michael Amott.
Yeah, Michael Amott
has been in, or Amott, sorry. He was in Carcass,
mm-hmm.
most notably.
Mm-hmm. And you can hear the Carcass in there.
Yeah,
I totally hear the Carcass.
You can definitely hear the Carcass influence in there.
Wake up and hear the Carcass.
Wake up and is it smell the carcass?
It might be. Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, wake up and smell the carcass.
He got together and formed Archenemy with his younger brother when he originally left Carcass.
Right.
His younger brother Christopher, who was in a band called Armageddon. Original vocalist.
Armageddon.
What?
Armageddon.
Armageddon?
No, it's Armageddon.
I figured. The original vocalist, Johan Leva, was in a band called Carnage, Furbowl, and Devourment. I think Devourment is still around, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. But now, I don't think he's in it. I'm not sure.
You don't think Johan Leva is in Devourment?
Right.
Probably not anymore. I imagine he left Devourment for Archenemy. And then eventually left Archenemy for whatever. And the session drummer, for their original album was Daniel Erlandson, who was from a band called Eucharist.
Mm-hmm. Very Catholic band.
Yeah, extremely Catholic band. I didn't print off a page for Angela, so I'm not sure. I'm sure she was in plenty of bands before. I know ELISA was in... Oh, I had it in my head, and then I lost...
A Canadian metal band.
Yeah, some Canadian metal band previously. I sort of had it in my head, and then I...
Which we need to have a Canadian metal month, I think.
A Canadian metal month? Well, we were talking earlier this week about different months that we could do. We're trying to fit a hardcore punk month in there somewhere, and I've definitely got a Canadian band to bring to there, which is a Canadian melodic hardcore band called Counterparts, which I really want to bring in because they're
awesome.
They're fantastic, I think. But yeah, that's I don't know, what time is it?
Is this over yet?
Well, because of my my chicken mistake that I made today.
Sure.
This we didn't really launch into Female February with as much gusto as perhaps I had hoped we would. But I did really enjoy this album. I think it is there's a lot of classic stuff on here.
A lot of classic metal.
It has a very classic feel to it. A lot of guitar solos, a lot of it's a lot of fun, I think, is the big thing. It doesn't get too bogged down with being super serious and super duper atmospheric, which is a nice, fresh sort of change of pace from Black Metal January. Not that I disliked the albums that we listened to, except for maybe the Mayhem one.
Right, yeah.
But, it's sort of a welcome change of pace to listen to music that doesn't quite take itself so seriously, or it doesn't seem to. Some good quality, fun death metal is nice to listen to with a lot of, really awesome guitar solos and whatnot. It's fun.
Yep, Emmett does a dang fine job.
Yeah, it's everyone in the band, I think, is giving it their all, doing a really, really good job.
I love the instrumental song, something in snow. I can't remember what it's called. Like camping in the snow.
Camping in the snow.
No, it's
frolicking in the snow. Let's see.
What is it?
Shadows. Is it Shadows and Dust?
No.
No. Snowbound.
Snowbound.
Which is a map in Halo 3.
Yeah.
No, it's. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I was getting it confused with another map called Chill Out, which was in Halo Combat Evolved, which I played a lot of on PC back in the day.
But not to be confused with Snowbound.
The song by Archenemy.
No.
Certainly not to be be How you liking the jerky?
I'm enjoying the jerky.
You've had.
This will be my third piece.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't want to eat all your jerky here.
Yeah, don't eat all my fucking jerky.
All right.
No, you're certainly welcome to share it, because the last package that I had sat in the fridge for a while, and I only ate a couple of pieces and kind of forgot about it.
Really?
It's great jerky, and I love it. I just, for some reason, I forgot about it. I think it's because I didn't have like crackers to eat it with. 'Cause I like to eat jerky with some crackers and some cheese, easy cheese.
Really, canned cheese.
Canned cheese.
All right.
Crackers, my dad's venison jerky, and a beer too. And maybe a terrible fucking movie. Because last year, the last package of deer jerky that I had, I had a can of easy cheese, I had the deer jerky, I had a huge pile of Ritz, and I got really drunk, and me and my roommate watched Samurai Cop for the first time, and stayed up really late watching Samurai Cop and just eating jerky and drinking beer, and it was a great fucking time.
What a great movie.
Oh, Samurai Cop. It's good. It's good. It's a good thing. I'm wondering, I should maybe look up and see if Lords of Chaos is going to be coming to any theaters near us.
Probably not.
I would imagine not. I don't know how wide of a release it's getting. I know the North American release is this month. They finally released a full trailer on YouTube. I think I talked about that last time. So yeah, I'm interested to see if they're doing a full theatrical release, or maybe if it'll be available on streaming.
Yeah, direct to video.
Whenever that is coming, I'm hoping that the two of us can get together and watch it.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe do a recording. We could do a 2-hour long commentary track.
Sort of boil it down, though. I would. You'd have
No,
to
no,
do
no, no.
that.
We're gonna
all the way
start-
through.
We're gonna start
Hit
it
play.
and say, all right, everybody, if you're watching Lords of Chaos at home, hit play at this 3, 2, 1, play,
Now. Yeah.
and then we do a commentary track. Maybe not, but I'm in. I'd be very interested to watch that for the sake of the podcast. But yeah, so next week I'm going to be bringing a album by the Belgian band Oathbreaker. It's called
Sweet.
Rhea. It is they're sort of a black metal infused post-hardcore, I'd
All right.
call it. There's a lot of different influences going on. There's a lot of stuff going on, some clean vocals, lots of screamed vocals, really, really emotive work, I'd say. So I'm excited to talk about...
By Rhea.
Yeah, Rhea, spelled R-H-E-I-A, I believe.
Okay.
By Oathbreaker next week. And again, female lead singer. So yeah, I'm excited to bring that next time.
Shout out, by the way, to new listener Bob Campbell.
Bob Campbell, you got somebody.
You got somebody. He didn't pay, though, any money. But shout out to Bob Campbell.
Shout out to you, Bob. I wonder how much, because there was a period there when my brother-in-law was going around guerrilla marketing this podcast and grabbing people's iPhones and subscribing them to us on iTunes. At like family gatherings, he
And then
would
it
do
just
that
pops
to
up on their
people.
phone. What is going on in this podcast?
So shout out to Josh, I suppose.
Yes, shout out, Josh. Awesome.
Anyway, my mouth's on fire. I've got a couple of beers in me.
Uh-huh.
I think it's time to bring this pony back into the stable. Give him a nice brush down. Tell him he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. That's frightening me. It's weirding me out, dude. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to... Oh, I didn't promote social media.
Social media.
But yeah, before we bring the pony back in, we got to stall it just outside of the stables and be like, Pony, you got to stay out there for a second.
You got to freshen the hay in here.
We gotta freshen the hay. We gotta clean up some of your shit that you left earlier. So yeah, if you don't know where to find us, we're on your social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can check us out there. I always say, oh, I'm gonna post to Instagram, and then I don't do it. So don't be surprised if I don't post. But at any rate, you can check out our posts on Facebook and Twitter, and definitely share those with your friends. Get links in front of faces, as I said last week. I think that's my new ethos, my new mantra for the social media thing. Just get links in front of faces. That's all you got to do. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the podcast. Pony, you can come in. This has been the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kayle.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.